and stuff like that. But in the meantime, while we get that all situated, you can actually visit jacklyndougherty.com for more information about the piano, violin, and ballet. You can even subscribe to this YouTube channel, Jacklyn Dougherty, to find more content about ballet, violin, and also the piano. I post everything when it comes to like how to do to the finishing product on almost all the instruments that I have on my YouTube channel.
I'm just trying to get the mics tested. I think I got this one ready. It's good. Let me just do that one. Hold on a second. And then I just want to go ahead and let me just go ahead and put a title in so everybody knows what we're going to talk about today for this.
So we definitely have our mics working. That is actually really good to make sure, because I want to make sure you guys can hear us. So that's really good.
And we were doing the podcast over on the main videos or on the videos, but we decided to, you know, share with our short families. Yeah. So we were to see how that goes over here. So please like, comment, and subscribe. Is that what they do? Subscribe?
Yes. Please like, comment, share, and subscribe, and also hit the notification bell because I do post a lot of content. So you want to stay tuned when I post the next video. So are we ready to tell them what we're talking about today?
Yes, in 5. Do like that little like countdown.
4,
Hold on.
3, 2,
Count slower.
5.
Alrighty, ready. Hi, my name is.
Hi, my name is Jacklyn Dougherty.
Hi, my name is Joni Dougherty.
And today we're going to be talking about the 7 movements of dance. So the 7 movements of dance are found in almost every ballet term that use a counter. You will see these 7 movements of dance come around and around and around and around.
They link to each other too.
Yes, they do.
Yeah.
You'll notice I'll say, oh, such and such term has such and such in it and such in it. So let's get started so we can figure out what such and such and such and such is.
Alrighty, up first we have the first movement of dance, and which is?
The first movement of dance is plie. This is a ballet term that means to bend. So this is any term that has a bending action. What would be is grand plies, because you are bending at the knees. You're not tipping so far forward, but you're also not tipping so far back. You want to kind of have that middle ground of just between 2 walls. Another bending action would be also right before your jumps, because most jumps start with the plie and end with the plie, so that will have a bending action at your knee. Another one would be fondus. You're doing a fondue on one leg, so you would have to have balance, but you would have to be able to do that nice bending action and out, bending action and out.
Because the balance helps with your grace.
Yes, it does. Another thing that also has a bending action is also when you go for your coup de pieds.
Oh.
Because you have to make that nice bending action here, even for your passes. That's a bending action too. So that's any ballet term that
And
has
it's a bending action. It's the grace that we want too. So it's a very important first movement. They're not in any order, but this is one of the 7 movements of dance.
So it's plier, which means to bend, and this is any action that has to deal with a bending action.
Correct. And up next we have number 2.
Étendu, which means to stretch. So this is a ballet term with any type of stretching action, which would be tendus, which would be développés, because you're doing a nice développé and you're stretching at your peak. You would have jetés, because you're doing a tendu and lifting it up, which has that stretching action. Another one that has a stretching action would be rond de jambes.
Okay.
Because you're doing a tendu devant, and you are stretching your leg all the ways out, and then you are closing back.
And you want to maintain your lines when you're stretching. Yes. It helps with maintaining your lines.
Yes, you want to make sure that you know that your heels are going to go forward. Your heel is not going to come in. It's going to be nice and forward, even to the back. You don't want it down. You want it nice and
So when you
Nice
bring
and
it to the derriere,
Mhm.
you want to make sure that you're maintaining your lines and you're keeping everything nice and straight.
Yes. So those are a few terms that have a stretching action to it. So there's a lot more terms that you will notice that have this stretching action, but I'm just giving like a little like general like 4 or 3 terms.
Depending on what book you buy, some books say there's like 88 terms, some books say there's 800 terms. And if you go to jacklyndougherty.com, she has posted all of the terms, a tutorial or teaching you how to do them. So there's very good educational researches there. And now we're up to number 3.
We have number 3, which is relever,
Okay.
which means to rise. So this is any action that you are rising to the ball of your foot, which would be releves, your pirouettes, your fortes, your fondus, if you do your fondus to releve. So this is any action that you are rising to the ball of your foot.
And not rushing.
Not rushing. And then when you also rise to the ball of your foot, you don't want to bring your shoulders with you. You want to keep them nice and lower. You kind of don't want to make it to the audience that you are doing a transitioning move, but you want to do that transitioning move, but you don't want to show it to the audience.
You want to bring them along, but without them feeling like they're being dragged along.
Yeah, so you want to make sure you have that transitional move, but it's not so transitional.
Right. And up next, we have number 4.
Which is sauter.
This is one of the favorites,
Yes.
Because of what it means. But go ahead.
It is a sauter, which it means to jump. So this is any action that has a jumping action to it, which would be sautes, changements, grand changements, pas de chasse, tourjetés, jeté. All of that has that jump, that action. Not only do they have that action of jump, but they also have the bending action, because when you do your pas de chasse, you're doing a plie and bending your knees. Bending your knees, but you're doing it in a jump. Even grand changements, you're doing it in the jump.
Right.
So
They all link together, like you said in the beginning.
They all link together.
And when you're jumping up, we want to make sure we're landing
Light as a kite, light as a feather. You don't want to be jumping so harsh. You want to be jumping nice and light. So you want to make sure that you're rolling up through your foot and down through your toes. Up, down, down.
That's correct. And now we are up to number 5.
Yes.
Okay.
5. There is 7 movements. So we have 5. We're on 5, so that means we have 2 more left. So the 5th one is glisser, which means to glide. So this is any ballet term that has that gliding action. Kind of like the vibe of ice skating without ice skating, because you don't have the blade. You're just gliding on your foot across the stage and stuff like that. So you could do chasse, because that's a gliding action. You can even do glissade, that's a gliding action. Anything that has, you can even do a tendu and then plie and tendu, just different moves that have that gliding action. That is what a glisser is.
And one of the purposes is to connect the steps to each other? Or
This is a very good connective step.
Okay.
There's a lot of moves in ballet that are a go-to connecting step. Glisser is one, glissade is one, pas de bourrée is one, tombe pas de bourrée is one. Even doing piqués is like a connecting step too.
So if I was like planning like to choreograph a dance, this might be something that I can use if I
You
want
most
to.
likely will see this in a dance, yeah.
Okay.
Because this will connect you into a move. So ballet runs, that's a connecting step. So you do sometimes need a few traveling connecting moves, because you don't want to try to stay in a box. You do want to kind of use all the spaces on your stage. So it is.
Well, you
really
also have audience at this corner,
this corner, the box, the this, the that.
up there.
So
and everybody paid for a ticket, so you want to
thank them for coming, and you want to use your stage, because that's the only chance that you get to be in a stage. So those connecting steps are going to get you from here to there, to there, to there. So they're just going to get you across the floor without it being so pedestrian-like. It's at least a dance move.
right,
It's not going to be where you're walking,
like a crosswalk.
yeah, the streets in the hand.
Okay. And up next we have number 6.
Which means élance, which means to dart. So this is any ballet action that you are darting. You can do when you do frappes, you are striking the floor, so you're darting your foot out. So it's anything that has that vibe of darting. That's the vibe of this one. But you want to be darting in a graceful way. You don't want to be darting in an ungraceful way.
You're not darting like a car darts. You're kind of darting like a bird.
You're darting like more in a graceful way. So yeah.
And up next we have number 7.
So our last one is tournette, which means to turn. Tournette, which means to turn. So this is any action that has a turning aspect, which would be pirouettes, boites, a la secondes, pirouettes, piqué turns, chalets, all those, even soutenu, all of those have a turning aspect. So you have to think about your balance, which is your relevé, your plie, which was your plie. You have to think about your turning, which is your spotting, something on the wall, something on the corner, something in the wings, somewhere. Just spotting something and you're turning and turning and turning. So that is turning, tournette.
And you want to get there.
You want everything to come together. You don't want one body part lagging behind. You want everything to come together. So tournette is one of those terms that is everything connects to it, no matter what. Because you have
everything connects together.
Yes.
That's all you can say. That's enough. It all collects, it's all combined to one another, and it's all something you should know. Normally they test all 7 of them. You're supposed to know probably about a 5th grade level. Different studios require different things. Some studios don't even test. But it's good for you to know. Some of these words you'll find in children's books, and some of them you won't find until you get a little bit older, but it's good to start now to memorizing the 7 movements of dance, as it will help you. So one of the things that you should definitely do is memorize the 7 movements of dance, and you can easily memorize them. I know we gave you like a lot today, but there's actually a short way to memorize the 7 movements of dance. And can you help me with that?
Yeah, so plié, which means to bend. You have entendu, which means to stretch. You have relevé, which means to rise. You also have sauter, which means to jump. You also have glisser, which means to glide, and tournette, which means to turn. So all these terms, you start learning your first one in grade 1. That's when you start learning, that's when you start introduce the word 7 movements, but you do learn some of these in, you do learn some of this in like pre-ballet. You do learn entendu and like jumping and skipping.
I recall they were in some of the children, some of the, we probably still have them, I know we still have them, but some of the younger books when you were like 2 years old or 1 year old that we used to read, I recall that the words were inside those books. At that point, you know, it was just words to us. But they were in that book. So you'll hear the words are out there, but maybe it's not formatted as this is the 7 movements, and maybe it's not formatted as in like, hey, this is important. It's more as like, you know, the little girl that does the turn and it's like, oh, I did a turn, but it's like, well, that is a 7 movement of dance and it is important to know it. But yeah. So we thank you so much for joining us, and we do ask that you visit jacklyndougherty.com for more information on all your ballet questions. You should be able to find them there. And if you don't, just drop us a line in the comment section about what your question is, and Jacklyn will be happy to answer it. Also, if you can please comment, we'd love to know which is your favorite ballet term from the 7 movements of dance, which is your favorite one. And which one did you not know was the 7 movements of dance? But if you could drop a comment in, we would greatly appreciate that. And also, if you could please subscribe and hit that notification button. We are going to be doing some more ballet live talks because we have
quite a few topics to talk about. There's a lot of topics in the ballet, talking from shows to this to that. So
we can do this 24/7 too if it's on ballet.
Yeah, but right now we're gonna just do this one and get this one done today and have this one, and then have the next topic ready for tomorrow.
Alrighty then.
So please come back, and I hope to see you again soon. Much love.
Bye. Much love.